How are we getting on, folks? Luke here from LAGFX. We're back today with a new Sunday Sessions video. Yes, I look very tired. I'm literally recording this on a Saturday morning before taking a flight to Barcelona, so you have to bear with me with that. This video is very special as we have a guest with us today who's going to be providing some analysis. Now, our special guest today is Toby, and Toby actually runs his own team, the Forex Bureau. So if you guys do enjoy the analysis he provides today, check out his content and some of the services that he can offer you. All the links will be left in the description. Now, as always, if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, leave it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family. And if you have any questions with regards to the analysis that I go through or Toby goes through today, leave them in the comments below. Now, what I'm going to do is pass you over to Toby. He's going to introduce himself, provide you guys with some good quality content, and then hand it back over to myself.
Hi guys, Toby here from the Forex Bureau. I just want to say thank you to Luke for allowing me this time on his channel. Give you a quick breakdown of what I'm looking at moving forward. So further ado, let's get into it. So having a look, the first pair that we're going to look at is Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, all I can see at the moment is a lot of consolidation. There's no clear direction of where it's wanting to go. It's been very bullish lately in regards to the crypto space. You know, has it wore thin? I don't know. Can it continue? But these my two areas that I'd like to see it break is the $72,000 zone. So this is the area that I'd like it to break for a continuation up. We did get a break here, but then a sharp rejection back into the area. So just having a quick look. So a break above the $72,000, a clear break, and then a retest, and then a continuation up to the upside. However, if we're going to be looking at any sells, what I'd like to see is a break out of this area. So we're going to see something a bit like this, a breakdown, a retest, and then a continuation. So if we was to get a movement like this, which is a clear break back in, I won't be taking any positions. But if we're to get a position that kind of slows down in this area and shows bearish movement, I will be looking at taking sells and then for a continuation down to around $51,000 area. We can take this more, take this further, sorry. So you have got an area down here, roughly around the $40,000 to $41,000 zone. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin moving forward into next week. A break above $72,000 and a continuation up, or a break out of this consolidation zone around the $60,000 mark, but then a retest and a continuation down. So that's Bitcoin. Moving forward, we've got Euro GBP. I am looking at selling this pair. I've been watching it for a while now. So if we go on to the 4-hour, this is a zone that I marked out, a key area of testing and continuation. So it struggled to break it. However, we have got a clear break here. I know it's only small, but that to me is a break. So what I'd like to see for Euro GBP is a bullish movement up to test the 0.85014 area and then a continuation downwards. So just get an idea of where you can take your profits. Let's go on the daily. So you've got a zone here, just there. So you've got from the 0.84240 to 0.845. I'd be looking at taking some profits there, but if it was to break through this area, you know, you can ride this all the way down to say 0.836 or even further. So what I'd do is, if you are a one trader, have a trade and just take some profits as you go, or have a couple pairs, have a couple trades running, you know, a TP1, a TP2, a TP3, etc. But yeah, I am bearish on the euro pound. So yeah, I'm going to be looking at taking sells depending on how the market reacts when it opens. Moving forward, we've got gold. So gold is one that I am very interested in. If you can see this, to me, that is a head and shoulders. However, on the weekly, it does look like it's going to form another shoulder in my eyes. So we've got left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So I'd like it to test this daily demand, come back up, retest. I believe it's a 4-hour supply zone. Yeah, so 4-hour supply zone. So a rejection off the daily demand back into this 4-hour supply, and then decide if it's going to continue it down. Depending on how market opens, I could be swayed to try to take some buys, just as I believe it's going to fill this void and then tap into the 4-hour supply. And then obviously that is another trade in itself. If it breaks past, it's going to continue it up. You know, you've got a zone here that's unmitigated, so you could look at that zone as well. So you've got another zone there. So it's a case of back up to here. If it rejects off there, I'll be looking at taking profits. If not, and it breaks through, I will be holding it all the way up to say $24,011, to then decide where it's going to go from there. But yeah, moving forward next week, I am bullish on the gold. Just rejection off this daily demand. You know, it's a very key area of demand here. If it does break through this demand zone, so let's say if we get something like that, a tap back into it, and then I am looking at the weekly demand down here. So that'll be a lot of pips. I know with the NFP movement gave us about 1,000 pips in total. So you could be looking at a very similar movement down. However, if we do get a retest of that, if we get a test of that 4-hour supply, we're going to be looking at about 800 pips ish, for that to form the right shoulder. You know, it looks like it could have formed it there on the 1 hour, but on the weekly, it does look like it still needs to form. So I will be looking at buys for the week moving forward on gold. Now I'm saving the best to last, so I've got pound and yen, which is my favourite pair at the moment, moving forward. So if I go into the 1 hour, we've got this beautiful 1 hour supply zone here. It's unmitigated. We've built a lot of liquidity. So what I'd like to see moving forward is continuation up into the 1 hour supply, a nice bearish candle that breaks structure for continuation to the downside. You've got a lot of areas that you can take profits at on pound yen. So just give you a key example. So if it comes into this zone, you know, you'll do your entry halfway in the zone. What I do to be safe is have your stops above, so you can have your stops at around 60 pips, targeting the lows. You've got a nice 5-to-1 there, and essentially, if it was to go further, you know, you can ride this for thousands of pips. So that's a nice 300 pip movement. But this is my most favorite pair moving into next week is the pound yen. A lot of clear direction. You know, the yen's been really weak lately, but with a lot of talk of intervention kicking in. You know, we got a big movement there. We've got a big movement there and there. So a lot is happening within the Japanese space at the moment, and I do think that they are going to gain back some traction and some strength. So that is what I'd like to see. So a quick, a clear movement into the 1 hour supply, but then a rejection. But if I do go on to the Forex economic calendar, we can see that we've got some bearish movements here that looks bearish for the yen. So that could essentially bring this back up, give it some, give the pound some more strength towards. But then, however, on Tuesday it does look like we've got some bearish movement for the pound. So it is falling in line essentially. You know, a nice bullish move up to the 1 hour supply, and then bearish news comes out for the pound to then essentially bring it back down. So, you know, you could ride this for a long time. If I go on to the daily, you've got clear break of structure here. So what I'd like to see is a break into this area. So we've not tested this demand zone yet. It came close, but it didn't come into it. So I am expecting, you know, a movement into the into a daily demand zone for pound yen. But however, there's a lot of movements that can happen on this. You know, we can ride it all the way down to this one. So you've got 800 pips. You've got loads of space that you can go to on the yen, and you know, it depends on how long is this movement going to last. You know, has it topped out? Has it not? But that is what I'm looking at. I don't think it's going to break to any highs. So I am expecting a very bearish move for the pound yen. Falling in line, obviously you've got your other pairs like the dollar yen, the euro yen. They will normally fall in line as well. However, the pound yen is the one that I'm looking at for the week moving forward. Very interesting pair and a lot of potential. So, you know, you can capitalize off that. So again, a quick breakdown of the 4 pairs that I've looked at. So I've got Bitcoin, So a break above $72,000, a retest, continuation up. Coming down, breaking the $60,000 mark, a retest, and then continuation downwards. Euro GBP, a nice, I'd like to see another movement down and then a retest back to this zone of 85, 0.85, and then a continuation down. And then for gold, I'm expecting a rejection off this daily demand, back up into the 1 hour, into the 4 hour supply, sorry, to create that right shoulder on the weekly, and then obviously continuation down. However, we'll see how that plays out when it plays out. You know, it's very bullish is gold at the moment. I think this is just a little mishap. I don't think it'll continue, because if you look at the DXY, get rid of this. So on the DXY, we've got a nice 4 hour supply zone. Sorry, so if we go on the 4 hour chart, we've got a 4 hour supply zone here that's not been mitigated. So I am expecting it to come in, finish around this area, and then a continuation back downwards, which will essentially bring gold up. And then obviously finishing on pound yen, bullish movement into the 1 hour supply or the 4 hour supply, but I like the 1 hour supply a lot more, and then a continuation down to the bottom. Have a couple of pairs running if you are going to take it. A trade's running, sorry. You know, 1 to 5 take profits potentially. You know, you've got a lot of area. You know, you can take profits here. You can take profits here. You can take profits here. You know, you've got all these areas where you can take profits from, because you will see essentially some form of rejection from this zone. You know, demand zone, demand zone, demand zone. So yeah, so that is what I'm looking at moving forward into next week. I'm not in any trades at the moment, so it's a case of taking a trade when everything falls in line. I am a supply and demand trader, so it has to come into my area for me to take a trade. You know, I like to see either a doji candle or a bearish or a bullish engulfing candle for me to take a trade, or even the free pin. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking at moving forward. I just want to say thank you again to Luke. If you do want to trade with me, we have got a free Telegram group. It's completely free. We have just started a new series on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It's called Can You Gamble Your Way Through the Forex Market? It's more of an educational series. Essentially what we've done is we've taken $20,000 of my actual funds that I've made from trading Forex, and every trade that we place is completely random. You know, it's all decided from a Nerf gun, and we're shooting it at a board to decide our pairs. It's really fun. Join along, follow, you know, all the good stuff. But yeah, if you like that, hopefully I've given you some educational advice on how to look at the charts moving forward for next week. You know, it might have been a pair that you wasn't essentially looking at. I am most excited for the pound yen. That is the one that I'm most confident with. But yeah, cheers guys. I'll pass you back on to Luke now. I wish you all the best for your trades.
Okay, so I hope you guys have enjoyed Toby's analysis. Now what I'm going to do is run through some of the pairs that I'm looking at trading this coming week as well. We've got 3 pairs that have caught my eye. We've got the Great British Pound to the US dollar, the gold to the US dollar, and the euro to the US dollar. So the US dollar is the quote currency for all 3 pairs. So our bias should be somewhat the same for each pair. So let's have a look through the analysis we've got today. So starting off with the Great British Pound to the US dollar, you can see here that price looks to be within a higher time frame corrective wave. Now, the reason why I suggest this is because we are seeing bullish structure being introduced when the overall structure is suggesting bearishness. The reason why I say that is because you can see that the previous trend was trading us higher. This is an extreme higher time frame corrective wave, trading us higher. Price traded us into an area of supply. When price traded us into this area of supply, supply was introduced, demand was offloaded. So buy positions that had been put into this market and injected into this market were being removed, profits were being taken, and supply had been introduced. This gives us that S&D flip, and that's exactly what we were delivered with this break of structure to the downside. Now, when we are breaking lows, that suggests that supply is overpowering the demand in the market, because we are breaking what should be protected when it comes to bullish structure, and we are creating those lower highs. So you can see here, we broke the last protected low. to create a lower low, and we are seeing price now correct itself to set a new lower high. Now, as we zoom in, the reason why I suggesting that price continues in this bullish corrective wave, just because we have an area of supply up here that I would love to see be cleared in order to give us the continuation to the downside. So if we were to look to get involved in some bullish positions before we go short, that wouldn't be a bad suggestion at all, just because we can see that price is in fact within a corrective wave, a bullish one on the higher time frames, and it's also within a bullish move on the lower time frame. So we are completely within our bias and the current direction of the market. There's an area of demand here that I would love to get introduced from. I want to see price trade down, clear this area of demand, give us a fractal break of structure to the upside. This will give us the confirmation that the corrective wave trading us down and into this area has finished, and the new impulse to the upside is ready to take place. That's when we'll be looking to get involved in this market. Now, if you're someone who is quite preemptive and you may not have a lot of time on your hands and you just want to set a pending order, you could always set a buy limit here with your stop loss just below the zone itself, take profit just below the supply zone we are looking to see price trade into. And you can see that we'd walk away with a 1 to 6 on this position. Brilliant trade. Now, if you're like me, someone who prefers a more refined entry, likes to wait for further confirmation, then we must see that break of structure fractally take place in and around this area of demand before we look to get introduced. But that's my analysis for the Great British Pound to the US dollar. Definitely within a bullish correction at the moment, looking to see bearishness as a longer term bias in months to come. Okay, moving over to the gold to the US dollar market. Again, I do want to see price come to trade higher into this area of supply before a continuation to the downside. However, we recently had the NFP, Friday just gone. This delivered us with a large push to the downside. You can see that I was actually in on longs, partials were taken, and safety measures were applied. But you can see here that price has driven us lower now, creating new lows in this market. So it's with my understanding that price is in fact trading us lower in a bearish way. So we therefore should be looking for short opportunities to potentially trade us down and into this area of demand. Maybe from there we can look to go long. As we know, gold is a precious metal, something that will always hold value. So I would be hesitant to sell as a longer term trader. I'd be looking to actually buy into this market. So I want to see price trade down into this area of demand, and from there we can look for potential buying opportunities. Again, it's very important that we wait for the right confirmation in order to actually enter in on this market. Now you might be wondering, well, how can we get involved in this pair in short positions in the coming week? Well, if we look here on the daily time frame, you can see that we are left with this large amount of inefficient structure. So I'd love to see price come to correct itself, maybe up into the 2326 area before any kind of continuation in a down move. So if we just go down on the time frames, we can look to find key areas of supply that price may come to trade up and into in order for us to get a better entry. There's one right here. So this is a clear order block that I'm going to leave there for you all. The specific zone itself is 2331 to 2339. So you can see them here on the right hand side of the screen. Love to see price potentially trade up and into this before giving us a bearish move to the downside. So may look something like this. Trade us up, break structure to the downside before that move to the downside longer term. So we would wait for price to break structure here, wait for that correction into a fractal area of supply that we'd find from the impulse that broke the structure, and this is where we'd look to get involved. This gives us the ability to get involved in those refined entries in this market. But that's my analysis for XAU USD. I'm being quite quick with my analysis today, just as I'm in a rush to get to the airport, but also I don't want to take too much time off your guys' hands, especially with Toby providing some analysis today. So that is my analysis for XAU USD. Definitely look to go short in this market. Just wait for a good area to get involved in those short positions. They will be short-lived. I'd love to see price flip from 2240. But again, that all depends on whether we are delivered with a confirmation to get involved in long positions, and whether price absorbs or respects this area of demand. But that's my analysis for gold. Just to finish off on the euro US dollar, again, this is another pair that I would like to see correct itself initially before any kind of continuation to the downside, just because we have been delivered with a break of structure after a large penetration of a higher time frame supply zone. Price then came to clear a fair value gap that was left over, which is brilliant, and then due to fundamentals, or with the help of fundamentals, have we seen price now break structure to the downside and deliver us with a good amount of volume to the downside. Now again, how can we look to get involved in shorts in this market? Well, I think it's very important that we wait for price to trade us into a more refined area. This gives us the ability to take part in this market with a better entry, a better risk reward ratio, and as a result, better returns on the market. So what I want to see is price probably trade into this area of supply. This is, again, an order block that's been left over on the daily timeframes. I would love to see price come to correct itself up and into this area before that continuation in a bearish way. Now, as we go down on the timeframes to the 4 hours, you can see that what we are highlighting is this entire bullish leg before this heavy move to the downside, because we do have a lot of inefficient structure here that ultimately needs to be cleared before we see price continue in a bearish way. So as mentioned, how can we tackle this market? Well, what I want to see is for price to put in this correction. So I'll be waiting for some kind of sign that price is in a corrective phase. It's not giving us any suggestions as of yet. However, we are seeing price really slow down. The momentum to the downside is slowing, which tells us that the supply in the market is becoming exhausted. Demand is starting to take over. So when we start to see some bullish structure being introduced and we start to see areas of demand being respected, we could look to actually go long in the market before we trade the market in a short way, longer term. But again, it's very important that we wait for confirmation before we look to do this. But yeah, that ultimately is going to conclude my analysis for this Sunday sessions video. I have been very quick and very brief with my analysis today, just as I do have the length of this video in mind. I wanted to give you guys some key areas and zones that you guys can work with for the coming week and give Toby the opportunity to provide some top quality content. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the video, if you have enjoyed this video, leave it a thumbs up. If you've enjoyed Toby's work and Toby's analysis, go and check him out. The links will be left in the description. And as always, if you guys have any questions or queries with regards to our analysis, please leave them in the comments below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, with all that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next Sunday sessions video.